Welcome back to the Center on Technology and Disabilities new series on supporting local education agency and state education agencies' use of research findings to support students with disabilities. This is video 2, What to Expect and Look For when Partnering with External Research Teams and Agencies. As noted in Part 1 of this series, LEAs and SEAs are in prime position to help drive the conversation about the development of research findings by entering partnerships with university-based researchers and researchers from other agencies. So once the decision has been made to participate in a research collaboration, there are important things to know in terms of what to expect and what to watch out for. The first group of things to watch out for deal with human subjects protections. IRB is one of the first things you should expect any research collaborator to mention. All universities have institutional review boards that function to protect numerous stakeholders with respect to research. For example, IRB protects subjects of research studies by ensuring the researchers have completed the appropriate training, are using ethical methods, and obtain the appropriate consent from participants. IRB also protects the university from potential lawsuits by having safeguards in place to prevent unethical behavior by researchers. Most universities require researchers to complete some sort of training or certification prior to conducting any studies. The Collaborative Institutional Training Institute, or CITI, is used by many institutions around the country as a central certifying board for human subjects research. It may be prudent to ensure researchers you decide to collaborate with are up to date on their IRB certifications. It might also be a good idea to have members of your SEA or LEA go through some of these trainings so they know what to watch out for. IRB decision makers can be slow at certain times of the year when they are overloaded, or they can be slow all the time. It just depends from institution to institution. So please make sure any research team approaching you to collaborate has their paperwork in order. You can expect that the researcher or team of researchers will want to meet with SEA or LEA leaders to pitch their ideas for forming research partnerships. This is a good chance to learn about their plans and ask questions. SEAs and LEAs likely maintain their own IRB procedures. Some are more formal than others. If your LEA does not have a formal process for whatever reason, such as you're a small district with limited resources, this is something you should strongly consider developing procedures for. As a leader in your SEA or LEA, there are advantages to making sure your review board works as quickly as possible while simultaneously being prudent about ensuring goodness of fit between the research being proposed and your needs. In summary, IRB policies and procedures are not to be trifled with. They exist for very good reasons and protecting your students and staff. Once IRB protections are in place, the researcher will want to recruit participants if this is an applied study. Participants might be teachers, students, or both. LEAs are often asked to grant permission for researchers to contact principals to recruit them and their teachers or students as participants. Something to consider when deciding on granting permission to form a research collaboration is how much extra testing students will be asked to complete as part of their work. You should also be mindful of the amount of time teachers and students will be pulled away from their regular duties and curriculum. In addition, please make sure that the proposed research fits within your existing curriculum, your needs, and current approaches. It's easy to agree to participate in studies where the adults are the research subjects, as they can decide for themselves whether or not they want to participate, but it's a different story when students are involved. And especially true when talking about students with disabilities and protecting their information. Researchers may want to know a student's IQ and other scores from standardized assessments. This information is, of course, very personal and confidential, but researchers are trained to use this data confidentially so they can appropriately describe their participants in reports of research. That being said, parents must be informed and give consent when confidential data is shared. You should aim to collaborate with researchers that are honest, trustworthy, and are focused on improving outcomes for students, not only their own research agendas. So a good idea is to ensure every collaboration you establish has clear timelines and roles of responsibilities for all participants. In summary, collaborations between SEAs, LEAs, and researchers can be very positive and fruitful. Once all of the required procedural elements are handled, you can move forward with confidence, but be extra sensitive about issues regarding confidentiality for students with disabilities. Different SEAs and LEAs have different tolerance levels for how much time they're comfortable being taken away from teachers and students and given to the research team. In addition, we have to closely monitor how many new assessments are being given to students. With all that being said, when a project is a good match for what your teachers and students need, and all of the required pieces are in place, collaborating can be very rewarding and positive. Thanks for watching, and please continue using videos from this series on the Center on Technology and Disability.